Hello everyone, I am Dhruv and you are watching Learn with Dhruv. This is episode 16 of IELTS Speaking. Today's topic is describe a rule you had in your school. You should say what the rule was, when you had this rule, why the rule existed, and explain how you felt about it. Rules play a crucial role in maintaining order and discipline in any school. They are not simply meant to control students. Instead, they help create a structured and focused learning environment and encourage students to develop responsible behavior. In fact, clear rules also prepare students for real world expectations, where discipline and self control are equally important. One particularly important rule in my school was the strict ban on using mobile phones during school hours. We were required to switch off our phones completely and keep them inside our bags or lockers from morning assembly until the final bell in the afternoon. If anyone was caught using a phone, it would be confiscated and returned only after a warning or parental involvement. This rule was introduced when I was in senior secondary school around the ninth grade. Before that, students were allowed to carry phones as long as they were kept on silent mode. However, as smartphones became more common, they turned into a massive distraction, and the school administration eventually decided to enforce a zero tolerance policy around 2017. This decision came after repeated complaints from teachers and concerns about declining attention span. The main reason for this rule was that mobile phones were racking the concentration of students during lessons. Many students were constantly checking social media, playing games, or taking photos in class, which negatively affected the overall learning atmosphere. In addition, teachers noticed that students were becoming less socially active during breaks because they were glued to their screens. The rule was therefore intended to encourage face to face interaction and build a stronger sense of community within the school. At first, I found this rule quite frustrating and felt it was an over the top restriction, especially since it limited our ability to contact our families in case of emergencies. Many of my classmates shared the same frustration and felt the school was being unnecessarily strict. However, after a few months, my opinion completely flipped. Without the constant urge to check my phone, I realized that I could focus much better in class and retain information more effectively. During breaks, we also started talking more, playing games together, and forming stronger friendships. In the end, although I initially disliked the rule, I believe it was a well judged decision. It helped us become more disciplined, more socially engaged, and more mindful of how technology should be used in an academic setting. Looking back, I think this rule played a small but significant role in shaping our habits and attitudes towards the responsible technology use. Moving on to some follow up questions and their answers. The first question: why do schools need rules? Schools need rules to maintain order and ensure a disciplined learning environment. Without clear regulations, classrooms could become chaotic and less productive. Rules also help students develop responsibility and respect for authority. Next question: do you think school rules should be strict or flexible? I believe school rules should strike a balance between being strict and flexible. Excessive rigidity can feel oppressive, while too much flexibility may lead to indiscipline. A balanced approach allows rules to adapt to students' needs without compromising order. Next question: how have school rules changed compared to the past? In the past, school rules were often more rigid and teacher centered. Nowadays, many schools adopt a more student friendly approach and focus on well being rather than punishment. This shift reflects a broader change in educational philosophy. Next question: should students be involved in making school rules? Yes, involving students can increase compliance and mutual respect. When students feel their opinions are valued, they are more likely to follow the rules willingly. It also helps cultivate a sense of accountability and maturity. What happens if schools have too many rules? Too many rules can overwhelm students and create unnecessary pressure. This may lead to resentment or passive resistance rather than genuine discipline. In extreme cases, it can stifle creativity and independent thinking. Next question: are rules more important for younger students or older students? Rules are particularly important for younger students because they are still developing self discipline. However, older students also need guidelines to prepare them for professional and social expectations. The difference lies in how the rules are enforced. Next question. Do strict school rules prepare students for real life? To some extent, yes, because real life also involves deadlines, responsibilities, and consequences. However, overly strict rules may not reflect real world flexibility. Schools should aim to prepare students for both discipline and decision making. Next question. How should schools punish students who break rules? Punishment should be proportionate and educational rather than purely punitive. For example, counseling or corrective tasks are often more effective than harsh penalties. The goal should be behavioral improvement, not fear. Next question. Do you think technology should be restricted in schools? Technology should be regulated but not completely banned. When used appropriately, it can enhance learning and digital literacy. However, unchecked use can easily become a major distraction. Next question. Should parents or schools be responsible for teaching discipline? Both play a complementary role in shaping a child's behavior. Parents lay the foundation of discipline at home, while schools reinforce it in a structured environment. Effective discipline requires consistent guidance from both the sides. Here's a list of some of the vocabs that I have used in this cue card. Feel free to pause this video here to go through this table. That concludes our today's lesson on IELTS speaking. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next lesson. This is Dhruv from Learn with Dhruv. Thanks for watching.